Hello and welcome back to All About Community. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris. I am your host, and my guest is Toni Rochelle. When we went to break, we were talking about a number of things, but uh, Toni, I'd like to shift a moment to a slightly different subject. I'm told that you recently launched a platform called Ascending with Toni Rochelle. Can you explain that?
Yes, it's a talk show where I have the opportunity to have conversations with individuals of how they have ascended through life. I believe that when you hear other people's stories, it gives you more encouragement, more inspiration to keep ascending. And so I launched. I had been having this show for a while when I started going through the divorce process, and I wanted to heal. So I figured if I heard other people's stories, that would help my healing process. And the Lord told me to start this platform, and I had no idea how I was going to start it, where I was going to get guests from, or even what to do. I knew I had background TV, but I didn't really know people would be open to sharing their personal stories. And people were eager. People were coming left and right, wanting to share their stories of their extension of their life. And I feel honored. I feel blessed. And it's definitely helped my healing process. I'm still healing. And most of all, it helps community. Because sometimes when you're going through stuff, you just feel like you by yourself or nobody understands. But if you see people like you and I'm sure you have a story of how you have ascended through some things in life.
Absolutely. It's all in my book, Goodbye Arkadelphia, Turning Obstacles into Opportunities.
Go get the book, y'all.
you, I guess you've, your stage name is Pretty Toni. Now,
Oh, Lord.
now, that's to state the obvious, but how did you decide on Pretty Toni?
First of all, community, I'm not conceited. I did not
No,
name
that's
myself
okay.
that. I always have to start with
when
that.
you got it, you got it.
So, as I said, I moved to Oakland, California when I was 21. Okay, and when I moved here, someone gave me that name. The first television station I worked for was BJ TV, and shout out to Rockefeller. He is the person that named me Pretty Toni. And I didn't know it was a pimp's name. I had no idea. I was 21. I didn't know anything about that. But he named me this, and it stuck with me, and people liked it. And I said, okay, well, I made a name for myself and just stuck with it.
Nothing wrong with that. But it is interesting as to how you got the name, and you just explained how you got the name. I forget the name of the person that gave you that name.
Rockefeller.
Rockefeller. All right. One of the clips that I watched indicate that everyone has a struggle. What do you mean by that? Everyone has a struggle. I know I've certainly had struggles that explain many of them in the book I wrote. But what does that mean to you? Everyone has a struggle.
It means everything. I mean, when we went through the pandemic, everyone struggled. Rich, poor, black, white, man, female, we all struggled. And somehow some of us ascended through it. It's the same thing with life. People go through divorces, their house burned down, they've never met their father. They don't have a connection with their mother. You know what I mean? There's so many things, there's so many layers of struggle that people go through. It could be as little as you got a car accident this morning and you knew that you had to go this place and this place, but are you gonna stay stuck there, stagnant in it, be upset, be a victim, And it's okay to be a victim. It's okay to be stuck for a second, but not to stay there forever. And that's what I mean by the struggle. That's what I mean. We all face something that brings us hurt, pain, anger.
But as long as you are a victim, means that you really can't move, I suppose. But when you no longer perceive yourself as a victim, it requires you to do something. Ascend, take action, to move out from being a victim, to achieve something.
Yeah.
And that's important. And I like the way you phrase that.
Thank you.
we we are obviously getting short on time, but when we go to break and we come back, I want to talk a little bit about your community activism, what you've been doing in terms of the community, and why do you consider yourself to be a community activist?
Okay.
So don't touch that remote. Put it down right now. Put it down. We will be right back with All About Community. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris. I am your host, and my guest is Toni Rochelle. And Toni has really made a name for herself right here in the Bay Area since she came from Oklahoma 20 years ago, and is doing quite well. So, again, we will be right back All About Community. My name is Robert L. Harris. I am your host, and my guest is Toni Rochelle.